Alright, welcome back all. I'm going to do a brief video here, hopefully, well actually I'm only going to do one problem, but hopefully I can do this in about 3 minutes. So when we have to find the equation of a line when we're only given 2 points, we're going to combine the two other strategies that we've already done this chapter. The first one being how do you find the slope when you're only given 2 points, and the second one being how do you find the equation of the line when you know a point and the slope. So first thing we have to do is figure out the slope. So we're going to say that slope we know is the change in y over the change in x. So we just write delta y over delta x. If I do the whole formal process, it'll be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So y2 is negative 8 minus y1. Then all over x2 is 2 minus a negative 2. So be careful with that negative. I get negative 10 over 4. And that gives me negative 5 over 2 if I simplify that. So that is going to be the value of my slope. So I'm going to put an m here so I don't forget that. So now I'm going to utilize the skill. Hopefully you watched my previous video about finding the equation when you know the slope and a point. So I'm going to take this point just because it's easier. The numbers are smaller. If I had a point where they were both positive, I would probably choose the point where they were both positive. But I know that my equation is going to be in the form of y equals mx plus b. I know that this is a linear function. So I plug in my x and my y and my slope. So my y here is positive 2. My slope is negative 5 over 2. My x value here is just 2, which I'm going to write as a fraction to make my life easier, and then plus b. Now the reason I wrote that as a fraction, hopefully you've identified this, but when I have the same number on top and on bottom when I'm multiplying through fractions, these can both cancel, but watch out for the trap. This x is a negative value. I forgot my negative out here, so make sure that you have a negative 2, and then when I have a negative times a negative, that's going to give me a positive. So my left side becomes just 2, stays 2. My right side, negative 5 times the negative, now it's 1 because these canceled, just gives me a positive 5 plus b. Then to get rid of, or to isolate the b and get it by itself, I need to get rid of that 5. So I subtract 5 from both sides, and I see that my y-intercept of this line would be at negative 3. So we're not done yet. We've got to go back up and set up the equation then. So I can say y would be equal, grab my slope, negative 5 over 2 x. I could say plus a negative 3, but instead I'm just going to write a minus 3. And then to check if the work that you've done is right, take one of your other points that you know, which for this situation we only know one other point, and plug those values in and see, does this work? So does negative 8 equal negative 5 over 2 times 2 minus 3? Well, we know that anytime I double something that has halves, these are going to cancel, so the times 2 and the division by 2 cancel each other. I get negative 8 equals negative 5 minus 3, which I'm pretty sure that negative 8 does equal negative 5 minus 3. So we know that because this checks out, that tells me that this work that we did is correct and our solution is valid. This is in fact the equation of that line. So that's the process that you take when you know 2 points. You first find the slope, then use that and one of your points to find the equation. Check it by plugging in the other point that you have. If you have any other questions, comments, or concerns about this, please let me know. Otherwise, I will see you guys in class.